Does anyone else have that family member that ruins reunions? I have this uncle named Jeffrey who thinks he's the life of the party. He shows up with a drink in his hand, dressed in some kind of costume, and loudly tells dad jokes that he thinks are hilarious. We're the kind of family that laughs politely at his jokes while secretly wishing this visit will be a short one. I've never liked Jeffrey. I thought he was a suck-up who ruined a lot of family get-togethers. He never dated seriously. He always turned up at the family reunions with a different girl on his arm that he swore up and down was the right one. They never lasted. I stopped coming home for visits when I knew Jeffrey would be there. In my last year of college, my mom called me in the afternoon after my classes. It was a week before graduation, and I was stressed from the final exams I had to study for. "You're coming home for the family reunion, right?" she asked hopefully. "You know I'm not," I answered, rubbing my forehead with my fingers. She hesitated before continuing. "Jeffrey won't be there." I paused as my heart started to race in my chest. "Are you sure?" I asked quickly. "Yes," she said. I ignored that her voice sounded a bit off as excitement raced through me. "I'll be there," I said, hanging up the phone. This would be the first time in 4 years that I've been home for a visit. I was ecstatic. The next day, I packed for my trip after my last final exam. My mom had already bought my plane ticket, and she emailed me the ticket. The flight was a blur of airports, but I finally made it home. My siblings were already home and staying in their old rooms. I was the youngest kid. They seemed surprised to see me. "Did mom not tell you I was coming?" I asked in confusion. My older brother recovered quickly and flashed me a smile. "Of course she did," he said quickly. "Come on, people should be coming over soon. Let's greet them." We headed downstairs and started saying hi to family members who were so happy to see me again. As I was catching up with a few cousins in my life, I heard it, his loud laughter. I froze immediately and turned toward the front door where he stood with another girl hanging off his arm. I searched the crowd for mom and saw her standing by the kitchen door, face pale and eyes wide as she returned my stare. That was when I knew she tricked me. She lied to me that he wasn't going to be there, just to get me here. I was pissed. Jeffrey came toward me with a huge smile on his face and I could smell alcohol on his breath. "Jamie," he crowed, throwing an arm around my shoulders. "Welcome home. We were beginning to think you were a figment of our imagination." He roared in laughter at his joke that wasn't that funny. He leaned closer to me, causing me to stiffen. "Relax," he chuckled in my ear. I shuddered in disgust and pulled away from him. "Don't touch me," I said coldly, before making my way toward mom. I grabbed her arm and dragged her into the kitchen, away from the noise of the party. "Why did you lie to me?" I demanded harshly. She had tears in her eyes that made me rethink my tone of voice, but I wasn't backing down. "Jeffrey ruins everything," I continued. "He's disgusting and loud and obnoxious." "I wanted to see you," mom answered quietly. "So that's why I lied to you and said he wasn't going to be there. I'm sorry. You haven't been home in 4 years because of that man." "For good reason," I hissed. "That man touches me and makes me feel gross. I don't want him anywhere near me." Mom narrowed her eyes at me, getting that mama bear look on her face. She marched out of the kitchen with me on her heels. Jeffrey was surrounded by the rest of the family as he made an important announcement. "Gather around," he said. He pulled his girl closer to him and she giggled loudly. Great. She was as obnoxious as him. "I'm engaged to this beautiful woman by my side," he continued. I snorted. I couldn't help it. The laughter just burst out of me. Then mom started laughing. Once we started laughing, the rest of the family started as well. Jeffrey grew red in the face with anger, but he couldn't do anything other than yell at us to quit. Finally, mom got herself together enough to say, "Get out of the house. You aren't welcome here anymore." Jeffrey looked like he wanted to argue, but with my dad and brothers getting ready to fight him, he had no choice but to leave. But he left while giving us the finger.